They say your life changes in a moment, that success strikes like lightning, that some people are just born lucky or chosen or special, but that's a lie, a seductive lie, a beautiful myth sold to the impatient and believed by the weak. The truth, success isn't an explosion, it's a rhythm, a pulse, a slow, deliberate drumbeat, and that drumbeat is called habit. You don't become powerful by accident. You don't stumble into greatness like someone tripping into treasure. You build it 1 hour, 1 repetition, 1 decision at a time, like bricks stacked with precision until they form a fortress, a temple, a legacy. Look around at the world's greatest men and women. Do you honestly believe Edison invented the light bulb on a whim? Do you think Carnegie built an empire by luck? That Henry Ford revolutionized transportation because he had a sudden spark of inspiration and coasted on it? No, they didn't rely on miracles, they relied on momentum. They didn't chase intensity, they embraced consistency. While others slept, they worked. While others doubted, they disciplined. While others quit, they repeated. The world belongs to those who shape themselves through habit, because habit is identity carved into action. A man's habits are his prophecy. Show me what you do daily, and I'll show you your destiny. It's not what you claim you believe. It's not what you say you want. It's what you do without fail when nobody's watching. You are not your goals, you are your habits. Your dreams mean nothing without the rituals to back them. The vision is just smoke unless it's anchored in discipline. But here's the tragedy. Most people are slaves to their habits without even knowing it. Habits of delay, habits of excuse, habits of scrolling, complaining, waiting, wishing. Habits that numb, that distract, that deceive. The successful, they reverse the spell. They create habits that serve their mission, habits that elevate, that sharpen, that forge steel into their soul. It starts early, before the world wakes, before the noise and distraction. The achiever is already moving, already planning, already becoming, not for applause, not for credit, but because they know excellence is not an act, it's a lifestyle. You can't rise while your habits are pulling you down. You can't unlock power while your routines are reinforcing weakness. You can't claim the life you deserve with the habits of the man you used to be. This is your wake-up call. You don't need to change everything overnight, but you must change something today. A single action, repeated with conviction, becomes a ritual, and a ritual, repeated with faith, becomes a new identity. Habits are your invisible architecture. They shape your thoughts, your energy, your self-respect. They determine whether your mind is a battleground or a sanctuary. Every morning you snooze the alarm, you build a habit of avoidance. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build a habit of honor. Every decision compounds, every repetition counts, and over time, the man who trains himself to show up even when it's hard, even when it's raining, even when he feels like nothing, becomes unstoppable. Because while others need motivation, he runs on momentum. That is the secret no one wants to admit. Greatness doesn't come from motivation. It comes from systems, from rituals stronger than emotion, from routines more loyal than willpower. You want to be a warrior, build warrior habits. You want wealth, build wealth habits. You want peace, build peace habits. You don't get the reward before you become the man who earns it. Too many want the prize but refuse the process. They want transformation but reject the discipline. They want the victory without the training, and so they stay stuck in the quicks, and of inconsistency, buried by the very habits they refuse to examine. But not you, not anymore. You are not here to drift. You are here to design, and your habits are your chisel. Every repetition a stroke of destiny. Every action a line in the blueprint of your future. The man who lives on purpose does not live by chance. He engineers his days like an architect of fate. His morning is a command, his night is a reflection, his time is sacred, because he knows the life he deserves cannot be found. It must be built, and habit is the hammer. Think of the men who refused to bend, the ones who stood when everything around them fell. Lincoln, crushed by failure, beaten by defeat, still stood tall not because of motivation, but because of internal laws. Habits of thought, habits of perseverance, habits of grit that refuse to die. He did not rise to power because the world gave him a throne. He built that throne out of heartbreak, out of loss, out of the daily choice to keep going when quitting would have been easier. His habits made him a monument. What are you building with your habits? Are you constructing a prison of passivity or a fortress of power? Because your habits are builders whether you choose them or not. If you're not commanding them, they are commanding you, and make no mistake, habits are merciless. They will build your future without asking your permission. Look at your calendar, your actions, your evenings, your weekends. They are carving your identity in stone, not in theory, in real, unrelenting consequence. No man rises above the level of his standards, and your standards are reflected in your habits. If you want to see your future, don't look at your dreams. Look at your patterns. You can't cheat your way into power. You can't hack your way into mastery. The successful aren't lucky, they're loyal to what others ignore. While others chase what's urgent, they focus on what's important. While others talk, they train. While others plan, they execute. Because they understand this truth, habits are more powerful than hope. Hope is passive. Habits are active. Hope begs for things to change. Habits make them change, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It never was. That's why so few become what they're capable of, because they crave ease over excellence. They want results without resistance. They seek comfort more than conquest. But the man who dares to demand more of himself, the man who wakes up and declares war on his weakness, day after day, becomes the kind of man the world cannot ignore. So let the world sleep. Let the average justify their stagnation. Let the masses chase the shortcut. You rise, you do the reps. You honor the routine because every repetition is sacred. Every discipline is divine. Every day you show up, you're rewriting who you are, and the man who controls his habits controls his kingdom. You don't need applause. You don't need perfection. You need consistency. Because the winner is not the one who works hard for a day. It's the one who builds rituals that outlast every excuse. It's the one who doesn't need to be told what to do anymore because he is the thing now. That's when the shift happens, when habits aren't what you do, they're who you are. The runner doesn't have to think about running. He runs because he is a runner. The leader doesn't force leadership. He leads because it's in his blood. The disciplined man doesn't wrestle with laziness because laziness is a language he no longer speaks. This is not about becoming superhuman. This is about returning to the man you were meant to be before the world talked you out of it. Before comfort numbed you, before failure fooled you, before doubt disguised itself as wisdom, habits are how you return, not through grand gestures, but through daily resurrection. Each act of discipline, a step back to the throne. Each habit mastered, a crown reclaimed. This is how empires are built, quietly, relentlessly, repeatedly. So ask yourself, what habits would the future version of you live by, not the man trapped in delay? Not the version filled with fear, but the version you know exists, the one with fire in his eyes and steel in his spine. The one who doesn't chase potential, he embodies it. What does that man do at 5 a.m.? How does he speak to himself in silence? What does he do when no one is watching? Be that man now, not tomorrow, not when it's convenient now, because every time you choose a new habit, you cast a vote for the man you're becoming. And the more votes you cast, the clearer your identity becomes, not in thought, but in action, in evidence, in legacy. You don't rise because you want to. You rise because your habits refuse to let you stay down.